Thank you very much for your video, The Blues. I've shared it everywhere. Thank you. And also the Common Soldier.
Yeah, just
Thank
the Common Soldier.
Thank you for doing videos like that. The Common Soldier, I'll be getting that out on my social sites. And I also want to say something to you about a group of officers who stand behind the razor wire, behind the prison walls, thousands of men and women working with these hardened criminals to protect us, the society. They are also getting some of this. It's trickling into the prison system. If you ever get a chance to say anything to those folks, really appreciate it. What do you feel about our prison system? And now the prison reform is kicking in, which is part of all this that we're talking about. We're releasing people. We're letting them go right after they get arrested. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, it's the idea. I mean, people are sending in money. They get arrested, and people are sending in money, and they bail them out right away, same day almost. I just saw that they released a guy who killed two moms and admitted to raping them and what have you. They just released him yesterday, I guess it was. The idea that they're letting people out with the excuse about the virus. Now, I would not do that at all. Why would I want to let them out into society if they're concerned that they might have it or spread it to the rest of the world? Put them in a particular place. If they have virus or you're afraid about them, give them masks and so on and so forth. Just like you would do people. What are you letting them out for? And that's just one thing. But the idea of reducing people's sentences, yeah, there are some people have been arrested. I mean, this lady that spoke at the RNC, very fine woman. She spent tons of years in jail, 27, I think it was, years, and a very religious woman, a woman who's doing good for people, and so on and so forth. And they released her, and you could see she's a fine woman. But the idea of having people bail out, it's the judges, isn't it? It's the judges who are doing it. So when you find a judge that is not to your liking or is doing these kind of things, the only thing we have is a vote. And that's what we have to make sure. I mean, the president has appointed almost 300 new judges, but every time, you get a situation, look what the judge Sullivan did about Flynn. He didn't follow any decorum, he didn't follow the law, didn't follow anything, and now Flynn is gonna have to get pardoned by the president rather than being exonerated as he should have been according to the law. But so there's something wrong, something rotten in Denmark, sir. So that the idea of doing this, I am as horrified about that, letting criminals out on the street, as I am about everything that's going on here. And I wish those that are being accused are police officers. Everybody's coming to judgment before. Even the fellow who had his knee on the neck of Mr. Lloyd. That case, if you follow some of the tape and the video that you saw, when he was arrested, and he took that tape behind the car, when he and the police officer went behind the car, there's tape on that from the other younger police officer's camera, and Floyd didn't want to get into the car at all. Oh, he said, I'm claustrophobic. Okay, he's on drugs, as we know, and so on and so forth, and so he didn't want to get so resisting that, and then he said, "Put me on the ground." So when he went on the ground, the knee on the neck in that state is a protocol. It's in the books. It's okay to do. It's not okay to kill him, and it's not okay to keep it on for 7 minutes, but it's supposed to be to render him unconscious, to control this fellow. Now, of course, he was handcuffed behind his back, so that's in no way No way justifying the fact that this man killed this man, by doing that. But take a look at the law in the books in that state. That is one of the methods that the police use to subdue someone to get control of him, with the knee on the neck. And unfortunately, as you know, it took too long and he killed him. But he had many other conditions that warranted that he died from. He had sickness, he had the drugs, he had whatever the heck he had. But that's going to be a fantastic case. First of all, I have no idea where he's going to get a fair jury. I mean, I can't imagine where he goes. He has to go out of the country, maybe, to get this. But there's going to be no jury that this man can have as a fair trial. But how about the other one that they're accusing, that the guy who stole his taser and ran down and turned around and shot him? And was fighting with him. And so that's open and shut, as far as I'm concerned. We see it. We can't imagine all this, and we're having the benefit of film, of tape, so we see these things. I don't know how many of these things happen without footage, but anyway, I ramble on, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you very much. Very informative, and I appreciate it.
No worries. I do understand the need for police reform as far as tactical. My only thing that I ask from politicians is that it be responsible and not cave into the pressures of politicians. And that's my concern. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And they're talking about reform, things like you can't touch him this way. You can't grab him in a chokehold. Well, did you tell the perpetrator that the rules we're playing by? That you can't grab me in a chokehold if I'm not going to grab you? What are we talking about? You understand? Let's say the bad guys say you can't do it. No, I can only touch you by the wrist, or I can only escort you. I can't get it. And the other guy, the perpetrator.
Gary and I can both attest to the criminal mindset. They have absolutely, the worst of the worst have absolutely no concept of logic and reasoning. They just want what they want at the time, and it can be very dangerous. And that's what I think a lot of politicians don't understand. The criminal mindset and how unpredictable and unreasonable it is.
I would think that a cop, every time a cop pulls a car over, whether it's a traffic violation or a speeding or whatever it is, I say he should draw his gun and he should approach that car like, I don't know what's in there. I don't know what, you got to teach the people where to put your hands when a cop pulls you over. And on the steering wheel, it used to be, to me, put them both out the window. And that's just the driver. I don't know who else is in the car. I don't know who's sitting in the passenger seat and if he's armed or not. So I'm a cop. I'm coming there with my gun handy, ready, even if it's, I'm pulling a car over for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be on the alert, especially today.
I've always felt they should train and educate students once they get around driving age what you should do when you get pulled over, because it's a tense situation for everybody. Absolutely. It should be a part of anybody learning to drive. It should be respect for the law and what you do if a cop says this and that's, how you should respect it and how you should obey orders. You should obey when a cop gives you a command. You do it. You don't see, the cop has a gun, and the cop is the law, and so when he says stop or freeze or pull over, you do it, and that's got to be taught immediately. Obey, and that's always tough in a free society. Yeah, and my final question is, where would you like to see America in the coming months and years ahead?
That is, I want to thank you one more time for your contribution to all our first responders, to our military men and women, to our men and women working behind the fence with no weapons, with all these hardened criminals. Thank you for what you do. We're going to get your message out on all my social sites. We'll get it everywhere we can. Thank you for the message you're sending America. We just want to tell you from everywhere that we appreciate your help.
Thank you so much. And anything you want me to do to help our first responders, our police, our military, please, I am happy and willing to do it. It's an honor for me to do that.
Well, if you ever get a chance to throw some words in for those folks behind the prison walls, they are just as much in danger as everyone else. We appreciate that.
I understand that because I have visited that in prisons. I've sat when my friend Stephen Chinlin, who was a commissioner of the jails in New York. I went with him, and in fact, I did a lot of celebrity things, celebrity softball games, and played at the prisons too. But I visited and walked through with them through the prisons. So I saw the prisoners, and you start to stand 3 feet away, so they're going to spit at you or whatever they're going to do. So I did that, and I also was with Joe Apiro in Arizona, and that we worked together throughout his whole tent. So in fact, he made me a deputy too.
Nice. Right. Thank you for letting us know that. I appreciate that.
Yes. Anything I can do, I'm happy to do it for you. Thank you so much. God bless you.